What if sanctuary wasn't just a place, but a way of living? Welcome to the Sanctuary Network, your weekly home for conversations that awaken the heart, heal the body, and inspire the spirit. I'm your host, Mary Ellen Popyk, the creator of Spirit Fest and the Natural Wellness Expos. For 2 decades, I've been creating spaces, now creating a bold new broadcast for mind, body, and spirit, where seekers, healers, and teachers come together to share wisdom, laughter, and transformation. We've seen what happens when communities gather. People become enlivened. Now, through the Sanctuary Network, that same spirit is reaching you, wherever you are in the world. Each week, we'll sit down with thought leaders, authors, and everyday visionaries. We'll also shine a light on the grassroots voices of the sanctuary marketplace, the healers, vendors, and practitioners who make this movement thrive. This isn't just another show, it's your sanctuary, a space to pause, reflect, and reconnect with what matters most. So, take a deep breath, open your heart, and join me. Together, let's step into the sanctuary. Welcome, everyone, to the Sanctuary for Mind, Body, and Spirit. I'm really excited about today's show and our special guest. And we're going to be talking about light language. We're going to be explaining about the Hathors and really talking about this ascension process that we're all going through right now, including Mother Earth, too. So welcome to Dr. Yafi Yair. And she is a doctor of clinical psychology and hypnosis. She's a PhD, everybody. She's a real doctor, multidimensional channel, and author who bridges science with the unseen realms. She channels Hathor, earth spirits, fairies, and extra-dimensional beings. She delivers profound guidance on consciousness, healing, and humanity's evolution. So welcome. Thank you for being with us.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Yes, thank you. So I'm interested to know, there's so much I want to get into. How did you get started going from mainstream science to what you're doing right now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so when it was time to pick an adult profession,
Uh-huh.
psychology for me was the obvious match. It was the obvious, that's the closest to my passion, to my call of service, to my interest to working with people and, the human potential, everything that I thought I was interested in.
Mm-hmm.
However, by the time I graduated with my doctorate in clinical psychology, I began my latest spiritual awakening. And I began to realize that the clinical field as it was, and probably as it still is, did not have the openness that I really needed in order to really fulfill not only my personal passion, but what I could see was possible in terms of working with other people
Mm-hmm.
and going beyond just the mainstream psychology. So my first gateway was hypnosis in terms of clinically. First clinical hypnosis, then past life regression, then QHHT and Michael Newton with Life Between Lives. And my mind really expanded with all the beautiful possibility that I could bring into my practice.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, I was really leaning into developing my own spirituality and intuition. So I
Mm-hmm.
started meditating daily. I started attending the Monroe Institute regularly
Mm-hmm.
and taking different programs, reading all those books. And then my mom transitioned very, very, very quickly, which made my journey very personal. I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to communicate with her. I wanted spiritual ideas to be experiences, knowings, not just I want to believe.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And all of that really propelled me into leaning into my spirituality all the way, in
Mm-hmm.
essence, saying goodbye to my clinical hat. Although,
Mm-hmm.
of course, it's always a part of me, it's a part of my experience and a part of who I am. Um, but I decided to really devote myself to my spiritual journey.
Mm-hmm.
And it became obvious to me that my personal and my professional journeys are one of the same.
Wow, that's wonderful. It's exciting too at the same time, and I'm sure, and I know that the transitions are hard, but often we look for what we get out of it, and that's beautiful. So do you communicate with her regularly now?
Not now. So it's been quite a while. She transitioned in 2012. So we're talking
Mm-hmm.
14 years ago. And
Mm-hmm.
it was very interesting. I had those different stages in communication with her.
Mm-hmm.
At first, when she immediately transitioned, I couldn't feel her at all for a couple of hours.
Mm-hmm.
Then all of a sudden, I could feel her after about 2 hours, and she
Wow.
felt very, very present.
Mm-hmm.
And that was really the beginning of my journey. So this was really new to me to feel spirit in that way and consciousness, communication in that way.
Mm-hmm.
So she was super present. She was like arguing with me in my mind, telling me what to do. If I didn't listen to her, she would poke my finger. It was so visceral. It was so
Oh.
present.
Mm-hmm.
And that lasted just a few days.
Mm-hmm.
And then she kind of pulled away and I
Mm-hmm.
guess went on her own journey. And I
Mm-hmm.
could still feel her, but it wasn't as present. And of course, as soon as it lifted, I was, Mom, come back. Where are you? And
Mm-hmm.
that's really where I began being very motivated to start practicing lucid dreaming and
Mm-hmm.
reading books about mediumship, not necessarily practicing mediumship, but getting more and more information and
Mm-hmm.
getting into that world and starting asking for signs. And I started receiving signs,
Right.
whether it's meeting her in the astral or her turning on electrical devices in the kitchen upon request. And
Mm-hmm.
all kind of different signs. It really propelled me and my husband further down that spiritual rabbit hole.
Was that the first mediumship type experience that you had had?
From what I remember clearly, yes.
Wow. That's beautiful though. When did you start hearing from the Hathors or these extra or that you knew were extra dimensional beings?
Yes. So in 2020, I enrolled in channeling training. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I did channel before and I was already doing psychic work for several years professionally. But,
Mm-hmm.
2020, the world shut down. I had all the
Right.
time in the world. And I really felt a calling to work with a specific teacher, Lisa
Mm-hmm.
Royal Holt, if anybody knows the name.
Okay.
And and she has very galactic influences. That's really her work.
Uh-huh.
And I really delved into that workshop. Like I
Mm-hmm.
said, there was nothing but time in the world. So the meditation, the day, I already had daily meditation, but I added specifically meditation for the channeling and breath
Mm-hmm.
work and body work. And I really began practicing regularly. I would
Mm-hmm.
channel, I would say about 5 times a week.
Oh.
And one of the first sources that came through to me was Hathor.
Mm-hmm.
Now, at that point, I was still in the training and
Mm-hmm.
we were using cards that our teacher prepared for us.
Mm-hmm.
And there were cards with the different entities that were ready to work with us.
Mm-hmm.
And there were, let's say, 40 names in the card or 40 cards. And I got the card Hathor.
Mm-hmm.
And I did not know the name Hathor. It meant nothing to me. It
Mm-hmm.
sounded very masculine. Hathor. I expected some warrior energy. To my luck, the people, my little group that I was channeling with, they knew the name, at least some of them, so they had context of what to ask.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as I started channeling, as soon as I said my invocation, I connected to that essence. Again, I'm expecting this strong warrior presence. And immediately I feel this nurturing, loving, expansive energy.
Mm-hmm.
And I really fell in love with it immediately because she slash them
Mm-hmm.
were so pleasant to channel,
Mm-hmm.
just really infinite nurturing, but at the same time, very grounded. So very loving, very expansive, but very, very grounded at the same time. So
Mm-hmm.
that was my first introduction to Hathor. And she spoke about the energy of gold and she introduced herself as a pathway. She said that through me, Hathor is a pathway of the divine feminine.
Wow.
So she did not use the word goddess, which I think is good because I think back
Mm-hmm.
then if she did, I would have an allergic reaction to it.
Right.
now get along very well with the word goddess, but back
Mm-hmm.
then it really wouldn't resonate with me. But
Mm-hmm.
so they presented themselves as the divine feminine. And
Mm-hmm.
as I channeled her slash them, the card kept on coming up. Different people would pull their decks, and either Jesus or Hathor were kind of
Mm-hmm.
repeated guests.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And over time, I received more and more information. Me and my group, who changed over time, but the information came through about how they're also a collective from the Sirius star system. So a
Okay.
lot of people know them as the Hathors. And they also said that names are really mostly for us, the
Mm-hmm.
humans,
Mm-hmm.
that really many cultures given this essence, many
Mm-hmm.
names
Mm-hmm.
over the century, millennia, whether it's Venus or Aphrodite or Kuan Yin. These are some of
Mm-hmm.
the examples that they specifically gave me.
Right. That's interesting because a lot of times it is an energy, but we as humans do feel like that we want a name. And I kind of understand, and I'm not sure that they understand, but for helps it just us line things up in our mind where we know who it is
Yes,
that we're, but the more that we get used to as with our ascension, the more that we will get used to just recognizing the energies. Um,
exactly.
oh,
It's all
that's
about the
beautiful.
frequency. So now when I channel, the difference that I feel is the frequency and not the name.
Hmm.
So let's say I call Hathor and I start channeling and a different frequency comes through, which could happen if I allow it and Hathor allows it. So
Hmm.
if I call Hathor, but a different frequency comes through, inside I will recognize it not because I use a different name, because it feels different. So either
Mm.
the texture or almost like the voice that comes through me, but before it's a voice, the way it
Hmm.
feels different.
Hmm. So Hathor is from Sirius. So
Yes.
the any other beings that you work with, do you know where they're from as well?
Yes, yes. So there are many, many beings. You mentioned the beings that I worked with, which
Hmm.
is different than the beings that I have channeled. So
Oh, okay.
So I have channeled a tremendous variety of beings. So
Hmm.
in my first book, Conversations with the Earth, that's where I really document that journey of
Hmm.
being a newer channeler and kind of being a revolving door and opening to different frequencies and different experiences. And I channeled anywhere from the Zetas and the hybrid children. I actually
Hmm.
channeled a hybrid child to
Wow.
Andromeda, the moon, different councils, different elements, the
Hmm.
fire element, the wind element, the water element, which apparently is very specifically connected to Hathor and the divine feminine. So
Mm.
really a wide variety of different types of consciousnesses or essences
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
have channeled. But currently, I would say I work regularly with
Hmm.
Hathor and Isis. When I do light language, they
Okay.
both work together, and we can talk about the difference.
Hmm.
And I would also say the Arcturians are in the background on a regular basis now,
Hmm.
and different groups that are present depending on the context and who needs to be there. But
Hmm.
Hathor is definitely my main overarching
Hmm.
connection.
It's interesting you mentioned the water because I felt like in the last couple of years that the water has really come online with a frequency that's new. Have you, because we're in Florida surrounded by water, have you felt
Yes,
that as well?
absolutely. So for years now, they're talking about the rise of the divine feminine and what
Hmm.
it means.
Hmm.
And as they mentioned, the divine feminine and water are very interrelated. So if you put this together, that would mean that the last 5 to 6 years of humanity, we've had a huge shift, really a big step up.
Hmm.
The way they describe it in years, it's 2020, then 2024, 2026, 2027. So it's getting half the time, half the time, half the time.
Interesting. Wow.
So we had this jump in 2020, then another big jump in 2024. And that
Hmm.
the jump, what it means is a rise in frequency.
Hmm.
So everything is becoming more conscious. We're
Hmm.
becoming more aware. and the actual elements as a part of the earth are also becoming more aware, because the
Mm-hmm.
awakening
Hmm.
is planet-wise and not just humanity.
Right. Yes. And that's things that not everyone may realize is that the earth is her own sentient living being.
Absolutely.
And she's rising just like we are. So,
We are
um,
rising with her.
hmm,
So
yes.
you
Yeah.
may even see us as the
Hmm.
cells in her body. So it's
Hmm.
really her, but the whole system that is rising consciousness. And we are a vital part of it, but a part of it rather than the
Hmm.
whole shebang.
Hmm. So, and then you also um, have been doing light language. When did that start, or how did that start for you?
Yeah, so I was a little more resistant to light language because that took another leap beyond the left brain.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
I've been on this journey of expanding and expanding and expanding and letting go of all the old notions of the left brain and experiencing a more integrated ex- experience of life. And
Hmm.
light language has been a big part of it for me,
Hmm.
because that has been the most woo-woo
Uh-huh.
addition to my practice. And as I said, it really bypasses that critical mind, that left brain, because it is about sound, is frequency, not
Right.
about words.
Hmm.
So it took me, I would say, about 2 years of practicing light language before I became comfortable with the idea that I am practicing light language.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
for about 2 years, I was practicing the verbal, already doing it regularly, the verbal communication and channeling messages from Hathor. But and occasionally, gradually, they would introduce the term, for example, field tuning, which is really what they call light language.
Hmm.
And
Interesting. Field
they,
tuning. Okay.
yes, so they say that especially the Hathor sounds. So from my experience, the way I'm feeling it, Hathor is, or Hathors, is the one that are making more sounds and tones. And
Hmm.
those sounds and tones interact with our energy field. So
Hmm.
first, the first aim is to harmonize our field, and then it begins expanding because we
Hmm.
begin vibrating in coherence with each other, which then amplifies us even more. So
Hmm.
that is what the field tuning does, and that's why they call it field tuning.
Hmm.
Now, in addition to the sounds and tones, there is light language, and that, from my inner experience, that's Isis
Mm.
speaking the words of the light language. And
Hmm.
of course, they work together to
Hmm.
create this field tuning with the light language and the sounds.
Hmm.
And as I said, it took me a couple of years of doing so regularly with a different group that was specifically practicing light language before I really got comfortable with it. And a part of me realizing the value of it is experiencing people's reaction to it.
Hmm. Wow.
And I would hear on a regular basis people that say, "Oh, I don't know if I can feel energy. I've never been able to feel energy." And then they hear the Isis light language or the Hathor field tuning and they're crying and they're feeling it. And they say,
Mm.
report
Hmm.
regularly, "I've never
Hmm.
felt energy like this. I felt tingling all over my body."
Hmm.
So that has helped me accept the validity of
Hmm.
the practice. And over time, the Hathors also provided more and more information about sound as frequency and sound as medicine.
Hmm.
And the future of our medicine, which is going to be a lot about frequency, sound, and colors.
I have been saying, I think sound healing is about 35 years ahead of its time. That I think that in 35 years that we're going to go to the doctor and we're going to get regular sound or therapy. There's a type of thing now that they do, mostly they do like with athletes or people with serious injuries, but it's called percussion therapy.
Hmm.
And it sounds like a series of clicks, click, 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 real high pressure. And I was thinking that it was the sensation of the clicking that was doing the healing, but then I realized it wasn't. It's the sound. So they're
Hmm.
already kind of onto it a little bit, I think. I think that we're going to realize, how much more that there is to that. So that's really terrific.
Yeah, I've also heard use of very low frequency to break up cancer cells. So we're
Hmm.
definitely starting, and I'm really hoping that it will be much less than 35 years
Yes,
before
yes, me
it
too.
becomes widely practiced.
Yes. Well, we're doing it now. So, we always talk about Spirit Fest, and that's one of the things that is really popular at Spirit Fest is we've got people that do the tuning forks, and they'll do reflexology with the forks, and then we've got Christopher Timms has the sound tables that are hooked up to the sound so that you actually can feel the vibrations and things too, and then that actually gets into the cells. So it's being done. Spirit Fest isn't the only place, but it's definitely being done. I'm waiting for Western medicine to really grasp
Yes.
how great it is. So yes, your wish is mine that it will be much sooner.
Yes,
um,
one of the things that they have said through me, Hathors, that they've been asked, by what year are we really going to see all those changes? Is it really going to be in our lifetimes?
hmm
And they really are talking about quite soon. So we mentioned 2026, which is this
hmm
year, and
hmm
2027. And they said that by 2030, a lot of the areas of our lives are going to be completely transformed from where they are today. And we're now talking 4 years away. That's really,
Right.
really soon. That's really, really close. And
hmm
if change is going to start happening that quickly, it's
hmm
possible that the world that people like you and myself are so craving and longing to
hmm
see may
hmm
come much sooner than
Yeah.
it looks right now when you're looking at the affairs of the world.
That's another thing that I think is so powerful for us having these discussions is because we're ready. We know we're ready. And there's a lot of people listening and watching that are ready. But when it actually starts coming, because things need to fall away before some of this new stuff can get built up, it does seem kind of scary at the time. There's a saying that one of my favorite people likes to say is no one likes change but a wet baby. But it's not just going to be the implementation of all these, beautiful things. Things
Hmm.
are going to very much have to change. And if we can look at it that way, it does seem a lot less scary. Um,
Yes,
and
from
what we've been
for
wishing for. Hmm.
exactly for a few years now, another thing that the guides have been saying quite regularly, and at first they were talking about it in future tense, but now it's already here, so it's no longer future. But they have
Hmm.
been warning or preparing us in the past that a lot of dirt and corruption are going to come up to the surface. And they
Hmm.
really warned us in advance. It's just that knowing about it theoretically and experiencing it are two different things. And they
Right.
said nothing can stay hidden anymore. Nothing
Hmm.
can stay under the surface. So
Hmm.
everything is coming up. So all the
Hmm.
systems that were already broken, political systems and all the authority systems that we have happening and the financial system and even education system and the health system, what's not broken really? So
Hmm.
everything has to come up to the surface.
Yes.
Nothing can stay hidden. We have to face everything so we can really choose with full awareness where we're headed and what future we're building.
Hmm.
And that's what we're seeing happening.
Hmm.
And for the ones of us that have been hearing the messages and have been preparing to the best of our ability, maybe it's a little easier to remind ourselves of the bigger picture,
Hmm.
of
Yes.
not allowing fear and negative news to lead the
Hmm.
way,
Yes.
and to remember that this is it happening. This
Hmm.
is everything coming up to the surface.
Yeah.
This is us being squeezed through the eye of the needle. So
Literally. Hmm.
we knew about it. We're ready for it. That's the good news. We're
Hmm.
ready for it. We're headed towards a beautiful future. But right now,
Hmm.
we really have to keep our head above the water and
Hmm.
our hearts as open as possible and our minds and bodies as grounded as
Hmm.
possible. I'm finding that grounding for me personally, and of
Hmm.
course, my clients, but for me personally, on myself, I really feel how grounding is becoming more and more and more essential. The
Hmm.
more we are, the more the frequencies are quickening.
Yes, yes. And I tell people they get so spun up about, and me included, sometimes I'm reactive just like everyone else. But if we're focusing on gas prices or other things that seem concerning or the things that we don't like, and we just need to remind ourselves that we probably stood in line to incarnate at this time in our evolution. We really wanted
Yes.
to do this. We really wanted to be here and we really wanted to be part of this. So
Mm-hmm.
this is exciting, and that's the way it's like graduating high school. It's kind of scary
Yes,
at the time, but
exactly.
it's what we worked for, and here we are. So we've got just a couple minutes before we need to go to the break. So you're going to be with us at Spirit Fest Sarasota, which I will talk about shortly because you're going to be offering a fantastic workshop. But how
Yes.
can people find out more about you, your website, and then I believe you're on some social media platforms as
Yes.
well.
Absolutely. On social media, my name is Yafi Channeling. I have a tricky name, so I went with Yafi Channeling. So my website is yafichanneling.com. I'm easy to find on YouTube, Yafi Channeling, on Patreon. I have a Patreon. Guess what? It's Yafi Channeling. So
Okay,
really
okay.
across all media, Yafi on Spotify. I also have my light language on Spotify and
Oh, okay.
Apple Music. That's also
Yeah.
Yafi Channeling.
And your YouTube is beautiful because there's a lot of different things that you've done, channeling or just listening to you teaching, which is beautiful.
Thank you.
And it would be even something I think people could listen to in the car. I'm one of those people that listens to YouTube in the car, but
Yes.
there's a lot that you have of content that you have on there. So you can find more information about us and our show at spiritfestusa.com. And if you even want to put the extra slash on the end and type in Sarasota, spiritfestusa.com, Sarasota, you will get the information about your light language workshop, which we'll get into a little bit later. But Spirit Fest Sarasota is one of our best of the year. It's huge. It is just packed with vendors in there and the best of the best because everybody likes coming to Sarasota. So check us out there. And when we come back, we're going to talk more about your workshop and then you're going to demonstrate some light language for us, which I'm excited. So, all
Yes.
right. Well, thanks everyone. Hang out and I'll see you guys in a few minutes.
Hi, this is the Celtic seer, Barbara McGillicuddy, and you can find me at barbaramcgillicuddy.com or on YouTube at Metaphysical Awakenings with Barbara and Eric. As a medium and animal communicator, it is my joy to speak with people on this side and people who have crossed over to bring forth beautiful messages of love.
Hi, I'm Susan from My Enchanted Path, where I create divinely guided candles, intention oils, soaps, and more that make your spiritual practice simple. No complicated rituals needed. The names may be playful, but every product is serious about helping you shift your energy. All fragrances are clean and safe, free from the major toxins no one wants in their home or on their skin. With a 5-star rating and over 100,000 customers, MyEnchantedPath.com is a place to find charming items for an enchanted life.
Are you longing for the deepest healing of your soul? The kind that transforms you from the soul outward? At JewishHealer.com, Dr. Doran Shalev offers powerful energy healing rooted in the ancient wisdom of Kabbalah, where he heals the body through the soul and the soul through divine connection. Your transformation begins with a single session. Treat yourself and book yours today at JewishHealer.com. All sessions are 50% off through December.
Join us for Spirit Fest, coming soon to a city near you. Spirit Fest is a metaphysical, holistic, and crystal expo featuring an amazing array of vendors, speakers, authors, artists, crystals, healers, psychic readers, and more. Spirit Fest is your chance to explore and connect with others of like mind. Get all details, including our upcoming locations up and down the East Coast, also discounted admission, and more at spiritfestusa.com. Our next event is January 10th and 11th with special guests and special presentations, including psychic explorer, medium Mark Anthony, and also historical researcher, explorer, and author Jim Vieira. More details are coming to our website soon, and we look forward to seeing you at Spirit Fest in 2026. Welcome, everyone, back to the Sanctuary for Mind, Body, and Spirit. I am here with Dr. Yafi Yair, and she is a channel for the Hathors. She channels extra-dimensional beings, and she is one of the foremost people that's really assisting everyone, including the planet, with this ascension process that we're going through right now. And she brings through really beautiful teachings and channelings through the entities that she brings through. I believe it's even fairies and earth spirits
Yes,
too.
I forgot to mention Viola the fairy, of course.
Oh, that's beautiful. And I love that light that's on your face. The
Oh,
sunbeam
it's
is
still on
just
my
coming
face?
right down and
Okay.
it's finding you. Um, so the light language workshop that you're going to be doing in Sarasota is actually really
Mhm.
special because it's 3 hours,
Yes.
which is a long time. So, and
Hmm.
it's a great price. It's $33 for the 3 hours. And again, a very special opportunity for the people in Florida to be able to come and meet you and to actually learn and experience light language. As you were saying, it's not just about, it's not words, it's the energy, it's the frequency, and it's about what's coming through. So that's really, really a powerful thing. Um,
Yes.
and then, so it's on our website, which we just talked about, and it's Saturday, the 25th, so 2 weeks, right? 2 weeks from,
Yes.
yeah, just
Yes,
about
it's
two
so
weeks.
soon. Time just
Yes.
keeps flying by.
So the first time that you did light language, was it a surprise or were you intending to do that?
The first time I did light language, I intended to do light language. My intention was to
Mhm.
practice light language, but it took me a little while to feel the difference between producing gibberish intentionally
Mm-hmm.
and really feeling the flow of light language.
Mm-hmm.
Now, remember, I started channeling verbal messages first. So I already knew how to put myself in that state of channeling and how to really allow sounds to come through me, but I wasn't as comfortable with it. So I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't as clear of a channel until I really started getting more and more comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And pretty quickly, I realized by people's reaction that my light language was different to them than most other languages. So from the
Mm-hmm.
beginning, my light language came out through different like chants and little temple songs and native sounding chants, but it was
Mm-hmm.
from the beginning almost consistently. It was sounded different in different times, but almost consistently had a musical element to it.
Mm-hmm.
And because I was not a consumer of other people's channeling and light language, I didn't know what it was supposed to sound like. I didn't know if it sounded the same or different than others.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
by others' reaction, I realized that usually light language is quite different.
Mm-hmm. I've heard different people do it many different ways, and it's
Mm-hmm.
about the tones. And I think if we really try to decipher the tones, that to me blocks the energy that's coming through. My logical mind wants to kind of figure it out, but we just kind of go with the energy there. So in the workshop, you're going to be talking more about what it is, and then
Exactly.
a breath work, a guided journey. And then people can ask you questions as they're going through, which is also going to be really great. And some of the added benefits is helping people to move stuck energy, especially in your throat, which is and that's where
Absolutely.
the energy is going to come through. Being able to feel and discern the energy, growing with to trust what it is that's coming through like that, and then
Mm-hmm.
being able to experience that. So, um,
Exactly. And
yeah,
it's
so that.
such a beautiful experience, right? To learn to be in that state of flow and to learn
Mhm.
to hold that state and then to express it with your voice. It's such a
Mhm.
beautiful experience.
Mhm. Mhm. Well, if it's okay with you, I was thinking maybe we could just kind of set the intention right now, and you could give us a demonstration of the light language, or um, a field attunement, or whatever it is that they may have in mind for us at this time.
Absolutely. Okay, so I'm going to invite Isis and Hathor and allow them to share whatever they would like to share, and then I'll come back.
Okay, thank you.
Erana rastienata rena korohomanei Huromarena heyana karohom Rumanetarastiena harenai Uroma kekrahiena rastohom Horena retarohiena kokruhomarohom Yeraneratei Romarati Urom akar eyanatoruomahat eraniati Uroma an ar akai Nuropatet ar at ai Huromaretai. Take a deep breath.
That was beautiful.
Thank you.
The toning is, it's just beautiful. I don't have any other word for it, but that is, it just goes right through you. So thank you for that. So in your workshop, you're teaching people how to, will they channel the light language? Is that how it's coming through?
Yes, so light language is channeling. But I see it, despite the fact that it took me longer to warm up to light language over verbal channeling, I really see light language as channeling 101. Because you get the opportunity to learn how to channel, how to open, how to discern, how to feel that flow, and how to express it. But as I mentioned before, bypassing that left brain critical mind. You don't have to think about what am I saying? What word is going to come next? You can really allow just sounds or energy or hand motions to come through. And all these things are a part of light language. You know, when we're talking about language, even English, it's not just the words that we're saying, it's the tones that we're using, it's our facial expression, it's our hand. You know, I speak a lot with my hands. So this is all a part of our language, how we're communicating. So it's the same with light language. Ideally, you want to be able to use your voice because our voice is such a powerful tool. But because it's a 3-hour workshop and we're really getting you started, getting you warmed up to using yourself as a tool in that way, you may find it more comfortable at first expressing the energy differently, like with your hands.
What would you say to people who think they can't sing?
That this is not singing, that I know that the light language that I produce sounds a lot like singing and tend to sound pretty. Although there's a lot of dissonance in the tones, but still it tends to sound pretty. But first of all, it's not always the case. Sometimes I produce some strange sounds.
Yes, I've heard, clicks and
And really, it's not about how it sounds. Remember that you are expressing frequency, right?
Yes.
So whether it sounds or clicks or breaths, you really don't need to be singing. And whatever and however your voice sounds, that's a unique gift. That's your frequency. And really what ideally you want to do is learn how to work with it in the best way. So we're all given a unique gift, and it's
Mm-hmm.
out about how we utilize it and how we work with it in a
Mm-hmm.
way that really nourishes our gift rather than focuses on what we don't like.
Mm-hmm.
However, we need to learn to embrace what we don't like. And that is true when we're talking about now with light language or channeling. But that's also true when we're talking before about different things coming up to the surface that we're not, that are not very pleasant, that
Mm-hmm.
they're not, that we didn't want to deal with until now, that were
Mm-hmm.
hidden till
Mm-hmm.
now. Because a part of this phase of evolution of the consciousness of humanity is arriving at a stage of integration.
Mm-hmm.
So we're no longer denying, separating, avoiding. We are learning to hold a stable field, not to
Mm-hmm.
crumble and fall apart, while holding all those other parts that maybe we were not crazy about.
Mm-hmm.
So you now apply to the voice. Maybe you have a nasally voice or something that you don't like about your voice.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how do you hold that and still use your voice in the most healing, harmonious, appropriate,
Mm-hmm.
clear way
Mm-hmm.
that represents the frequency that is coming through?
Mm-hmm. You have such a beautiful voice, though. So, but I
Thank
know,
you.
just like you said, sometimes what scares us is what we need to do. It's something that we need to. But if people are drawn to this, it's definitely something for them. It's definitely something that is going to benefit them, and that they then can in turn benefit others through
Mm-hmm.
the experience. But it's great that we can do things online. But I just feel like nothing can take the place of being in person with people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Even oming in person and producing sounds, humming or oming or chanting together produces such beautiful energy. And that's something actually that you cannot do well on Zoom and online
Hmm.
because the sound, and there's more to the frequency than the sound, but even
Hmm.
the sound doesn't really translate well. And it's
Hmm.
very different when you're in person and you're hearing your own voice from the
Hmm.
inside and outside and
Hmm.
how it blends with other voices and feel the energy in that way. There's real power to that magic.
I was thinking too, the acoustics of the building are going to be phenomenal. It's at
Oh.
It's at Robarts Arena at Sarasota Fairgrounds. And I love it's an older building, but it's vintage, and it has the energy. It used to be the old winter home of the circus, the Barnum and Bailey Circus, the Ringling Brothers.
Mm.
And the two rooms that we have the speakers and the workshops in were previously locker rooms. So you know what it's like when you're just in that perfect, and the acoustics are going to be great. We don't even usually bring microphones for the
Mm.
people just because the acoustics are so good in that room. So I can only imagine
Wonderful.
it's going to be perfect for your workshop. Yes. But and again, just being able to be there as a group, the group dynamic, it's really going to be amazing. I feel like that roof is just going to be floating off the building.
Absolutely. And there are two main people that are types of people that are attracted to this type of workshop.
Hmm.
One is people that are interested in channeling or interested in light language or have sang before and have this relationship with their voice and want to lean further into it and explore and express.
Hmm.
And another group of people is people that feel that they have a lot of stuck energy around the throat area,
Hmm. Hmm.
whether they see it in their life. They have issue with communication. They have issue with expressing themselves and expressing their truth,
Hmm.
or expressing themselves clearly in general. Or sometimes people feel it physically. And especially women nowadays, a lot of women have had thyroid problems
Hmm.
and other, just feel stuck energy around the throat. And it's not a coincidence because
Hmm.
it's a part it's related to the time that we're in.
Hmm.
But these are the main two groups that are really, really attracted to this kind of work and this
Hmm.
training.
And this is a gift that we've been given here on Earth to be able to communicate, to be able to do this ourselves, to have this come through us. So this is really a very special thing. Do you know when the first time that light language was ever heard of. Honestly, I think of some of the more conservative Christian churches when they would speak in tongues. It sounds
Exactly.
very similar sometimes.
Exactly. So we can't really know when the first, because it didn't start on Earth. It went
Hmm.
before the foundation of civilizations on Earth. But just like you mentioned, if we're going back in time, that within history, within the time that we know of, yes, speaking in tongues is essentially light language.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah.
people that were in an ecstatic state, were in an altered state, and started speaking either gibberish or actual known languages, such as Latin. People that did not had knowledge of Latin
Hmm.
under that ecstatic altered state were able to produce those languages. That is exactly what light language is. So there
Hmm.
are different terminologies based on the context.
Hmm. We at Spirit Fest have been seeing over the years, we see different people come in. I love when multiple generations come in. It might be your grandparent, parents, and then children.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we see a lot of people that are really new to spirituality and really just beginning, and they're sometimes even just curious. They don't wouldn't even consider
Mm-hmm.
themselves on a spiritual path. And then we see people that have been doing it for a long time. But I do notice a shift in how people are. I don't really know how else to explain it better than that, but you do a lot of the bigger conferences and expos,
Mm-hmm.
like is it the Conscious Life Expo, the new, what is the one in Los Angeles?
Yeah, the Conscious Life Expo.
Yeah, and then are you doing the one up in California to up in North San
The
Rafael?
channel panel. Oh
Oh
no,
yeah,
no, no. San Rafael is a different one. Yeah, I'm not
okay.
doing that one. That's maybe New Living Expo.
Oh, I think that's what it is. Yeah. So in doing some of these, the channel panel, the people that you interact with, have you noticed a difference over the last few years in what they're wanting, how they are, just the energy as a whole with them?
Yes, but I feel like there's a lot more of everything. So
Hmm.
all the layers have enhanced and accelerated. So there are
Hmm.
more people that have never considered spirituality are now coming into it.
Hmm.
There are people that are really, really young
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
seem to just come into the world with that interest in that inclination.
Hmm.
And you have a lot of everything. So it's interesting that yes, the energy has changed, but it's not that you have fewer, from my experience, fewer newer people, but you have, it seems like all the different layers are more passionate about
Hmm.
where they're at. So
Hmm.
there's this either conscious or subconscious recognition
Hmm.
of how profound the times that we're in and
Hmm.
how much everything is accelerated,
Hmm.
how intense everything is right now at this time. So even people that are new to this, that don't really have the background of the knowledge that we're talking about, the
Hmm.
shift and all of that, they feel that this is important and things are
Hmm.
happening now and synchronicities are happening like never before.
Yes.
So that
Yes.
is what I'm really seeing, everything accelerating.
Hmm. It surprises me a little bit, and it probably shouldn't, because I've been gravitated or really drawn towards extraterrestrial or open first contact since I was young, middle school, I think. So a very long time. And I didn't always speak about it. I do more now. It's a little bit
Mm-hmm.
more well known, but it's been very heartening to me, to the people that come in and understand that communication with extraterrestrials is part of our awakening and part of our spiritual growth. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah, and again, the younger people, and I wonder, is it just that remembering? Is it that inner knowing, or are they watching Ancient Aliens, or really what it is? But they just have this understanding that that's just what it is, and
I think it's all of the above, right?
Mhm.
So we're hearing things, if we're not ready for them, we hear them and they go in one ear, out the other. But when
Mhm.
we're hearing something and we're ready for it, or it resonates with us, we want more, we take it in. So that's what
Mhm.
we're seeing right now. We're seeing more conversations in the public's eye, but also more people that are just naturally resonating with it,
Mhm. Yeah.
and that are not coming from a place of taboo or stigma, that for them it's natural. Oh yes, star seeds, of course.
Yes.
It's just
Yes.
a natural conversation. So I think everything, all of the above is happening.
Hmm. I think that's beautiful. Have they told you in the different channelings anything specific about Florida as a whole?
Oh, about Florida. Let's see. I'm trying to remember. I know they mentioned the significance of being surrounded by water,
Mm.
and that it has a very strong significance, especially for psychic work and this type of work.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
and of course, in Florida, I mean, not only Florida itself is a peninsula, we have all those lakes, and I mean, we're surrounded by water. We have water
Hmm.
all around us. So that
Hmm.
is very significant to the spirituality of Florida.
Hmm.
Additionally, there is a line that's going through Florida that's the consciousness, Christ consciousness line.
Hmm.
And it goes across the states. Without knowing, I kind of moved with it. So I started my journey in East Florida, and now I'm in Central West. So I'm moving within the state. So
Hmm.
apparently I've been moving across the consciousness, Christ consciousness ley line. So that
Tell
is
it,
also something that
does
starts in
it,
Israel and extends all the way to Florida.
Israel. I'm trying to picture what else it would go through. Does it go through the Bahamas?
Not really. I don't think so. I think it goes right next to them, but I'm not sure. I would also have to be looking at a map to know.
I was thinking about Atlantis. I was wondering if that had anything to do with it.
Oh,
I'm getting off topic
interesting.
now. Yes.
But I
Um,
bet it does. It makes sense.
I'm trying to see, I'm pulling up a world map. I'm trying to see how Israel connects through Florida. Is it on the same line of
No, it's kind of, it goes diagonally up. So it's not like on the same equator line or anything like that.
Oh, I have not heard about this line. So
Hmm.
does it go around the entire world?
Presumably so. Yes, it would go the whole circumference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. I'm looking at that. That's very interesting.
And something that they have not mentioned, but we know that Florida has a very high concentration of quartz. So we have all those beaches, especially on the west side where I'm at, Siesta Keys and all those different beaches that are 99.9 quartz or something like this. They're
Yes.
beautiful, completely white, beautiful sand. They're very high in quartz. So I'm
Hmm.
sure that adds to the energy of the location as well.
Yes, I've thought so myself. And I've also learned, and again, we're getting way off topic here, but wherever there is military bases, there's usually some type of portal or some type of activity. And I know Florida's been a hot spot for that.
Yes, and it's not a coincidence.
Yeah, yeah. No, I have suspected that as much myself. But the Christ consciousness now is really what we're rising to and rising toward.
Absolutely.
Whether you are Christian or not, that's what that is that elevated energy.
Yes, it has nothing really to do with Christianity. When we talk about
Right.
Christ consciousness, we're talking even beyond the person that is
Hmm.
Jesus, but
Hmm.
Jesus is a part of this consciousness. And
Hmm.
we're talking about the consciousness returning. We're not talking about the men coming back, but really about us as humans, as people,
Hmm.
awakening into that loving gentleness, that love your brother, of
Hmm.
embodying divinity,
Hmm.
um, Christ consciousness.
And holding that higher vibration too, which is something we're not used to doing it full time, I think. So the more that we can experience that, the more that we will be able to resonate with it as a whole.
Mhm.
I noticed that it's time for us to go to break. This is just flying by. So if everyone will stick with us, and you can, please remind us of your website again.
Yes, YafiChanneling.com. My first name Yafi, Yafi, channeling.com.
All right.
And
And
if you're
then,
experiencing issues, it's just the server. Just try another day. Hopefully they'll fix it and all will be well.
yes, understand GoDaddy was having some challenges today. So,
Yes.
but the spiritfestusa.com, if you'll go to the tab for our Sarasota show in 2 weeks, well, it's a week and a half, I guess, Saturday, April 25th in the afternoon, Dr. Yafi is giving a light language workshop, which is a very special in-person 3-hour event for only $33, also very special. And this is a great opportunity to work with Dr. Yafi in person. So if everyone will hold out with us through a few more commercial breaks, we've got another segment, and Dr. Yafi is going to be channeling for us. So hang in with us, and we'll see you shortly.
Hi, this is the Celtic seer, Barbara McGillicuddy, and you can find me at barbara.mcgillicuddy.com or on YouTube at Metaphysical Awakenings with Barbara and Eric. As a medium and animal communicator, it is my joy to speak with people on this side and people who have crossed over to bring forth beautiful messages of love.
Hi, I'm Susan from My Enchanted Path, where I create divinely guided candles, intention oils, soaps, and more that make your spiritual practice simple. No complicated rituals needed. The names may be playful, but every product is serious about helping you shift your energy. All fragrances are clean and safe, free from the major toxins no one wants in their home or on their skin. With a 5-star rating and over 100,000 customers, MyEnchantedPath.com is a place to find charming items for an enchanted life.
Are you longing for the deepest healing of your soul? The kind that transforms you from the soul outward? At JewishHealer.com, Dr. Doran Shalev offers powerful energy healing rooted in the ancient wisdom of Kabbalah, where he heals the body through the soul and the soul through divine connection. Your transformation begins with a single session. Treat yourself and book yours today at JewishHealer.com. All sessions are 50% off through December.
Join us for Spirit Fest, coming soon to a city near you. Spirit Fest is a metaphysical, holistic, and crystal expo featuring an amazing array of vendors, speakers, authors, artists, crystals, healers, psychic readers, and more. Spirit Fest is your chance to explore and connect with others of like mind. Get all details, including our upcoming locations up and down the East Coast, also discounted admission, and more at spiritfestusa.com. Our next event is January 10th and 11th with special guests and special presentations, including psychic explorer, medium Mark Anthony, and also historical researcher, explorer, and author Jim Vieira. More details are coming to our website soon, and we look forward to seeing you at Spirit Fest in 2026. Welcome back, everyone, to the Sanctuary for Mind, Body, and Spirit. We have another really fantastic show here. We're with Dr. Yafi Yair, and she is a channel. She's a doctor, first of all, of clinical psychology and hypnosis. She has her PhD, and she has become a multidimensional channel and author, talking about the different wisdom and the different things that she's seen and received through the channeling and her communication with Hathor, earth spirits, fairies, and extra-dimensional beings. So we're going to have her do a demonstration of her channeling here in a few minutes, but I'm interested to know, in all of the time that you've been channeling, you channel for different groups, and you do online things as well. What are some of the most profound things that stay with you that you've learned from them?
Yeah. So, of course, from the beginning, they were talking about how exciting the times that we're living in right now, and how we're shifting and changing and moving towards really a more aware world. We're really upgrading. We're leveling up. We're going up a whole octave. And for me, one of the most exciting aspects about it, that it's going to allow us to perceive a realm that until now was really hidden, because the frequency gap was too big between us and them. And them is a huge variety of multidimensional beings and essences and intelligences that are here all around us either a part of the earth or even what we call extraterrestrials. A lot of non-human intelligences are sharing the planet with us. We're just not aware of it because we were kids and we're beginning to grow up now. So the idea of that we're all, but for me personally, me, going to be able to have open contact with different non-human intelligences, even with beings like fairies, which we barely talked about. We just mentioned briefly. I had a sighting, a physical, in-person sighting of a fairy last year, and that was just incredible for me. So thinking that that's going to become more a day-to-day norm for me is just super exciting and profound. And for me, it's also the carrot that's being dangled because it's so exciting to know that it's actually coming in our lifetime, that it's just a huge motivation to look beyond any adversity towards what's coming next.
I agree with that. It's exciting. And I've worked with the fairies before. And when you do work with them, you really quickly learn that they will communicate, even if it's through leaving you things or doing things or things like that, or those little blips of light. There's so
Sparks.
many different ways. And I'm interested to hear about your friend. But um, the communication that we're going to be using, I think most of it is going to be telepathic. That is the way that those on the other side communicate. Like the symbolism is the language of the other side, basically. But I
Yes.
think of how much we're going to have to tailor our thoughts when we're around beings that are telepathic, because we're not used to filtering our thoughts. We think our thoughts are private, so we can think
Absolutely.
anything. And I just think it's going to make us better people when we don't
Yes.
even have those thoughts at all. That I think
Now
that
we
it.
have to start becoming accountable even for what we're thinking. So
Mhm.
all those negative thoughts, the anxiety, the projection, they cannot really be a regular pervasive part of our existence anymore because we're really
Mhm.
being called to function in a higher level.
Yes. I think that, we've wished and we've wanted for so long to be able to come to that higher level. And now that it's here, we need to not be afraid of those things. That I think that sometimes the word is even high strangeness, where you just have really cool things happen that you just can't explain. I think that they're going to be becoming more commonplace, and we need to not let it freak us out, for lack of a better description. Oh my God, this is so fantastic. But once we start to desensitize ourselves that this is going to become more of a regular thing, how cool is that going to be?
Absolutely. So, for example, one thing, I have alien crystal heads, different crystals all over the house. And I really see it as a part of habituating, getting used to seeing different non-human faces around me
Hmm.
and having that as a part of my reality. So it's not as startling.
Yes, yes. I did that. Do you follow Bashar?
Not really.
Okay. That's one of the exercises he has people do. He had them a while ago cut out figures of gray aliens and just put them in your window in the corner so
Oh
that
yeah, I
when
do
you,
that. I do that for
yeah,
Halloween, but I guess he
yes,
recommends that as a more of a psychological exercise, kind of
right.
like what I said.
Right. But it's not even just that, too. I feel like on our spiritual path, we meet people that we interact with that we may never, ever have come across before. And if they're different cultures, their language may be different, their mannerisms and even, how they carry themselves are different. And just thinking it's going to be above and beyond that, and I think
Hmm.
that that's a great experience to be able to interact with people that we don't normally, just sort of in preparation, because I think it's going to be a big shift and it's exciting. So
Hmm.
anyway, I say so anyway because I could just go on and on about
Yes,
person open contact because I'm really excited about
absolutely.
it, and
It's so
knowing
exciting.
knowing that it's imminent is just really exciting to me,
Hmm.
because I'm ready, and I really think that we could help be, a bridge to people that it might scare them. But understanding that this is just going to put us in a completely new paradigm on this planet.
Yes, and since you share the excitement, let me share with you that Hathors shared through me approximately 3 years ago that they are on the earth in the physical once again. That's how they said
Ooh.
it.
Wow.
And before that, they were talking about being actually in the physical on earth during ancient Egypt, that this is not mythology, that actually happened. But only about 3 years ago, they announced that they're here again.
Wow.
So as a physical group beings, they are in a secure location. I feel that's not something that they mentioned. I feel that it may be related to a specific mountain. But they mentioned that they are in a secure location, and their physical presence is a part of that preparation and bridging the gap towards full-on physical contact. So again, how exciting is that?
Very, yes. Yes. And again, that raises the vibration, and well, they're welcome to come to Spirit Fest. I always say that everyone is welcome, and that's literally what I mean. Everyone of every walk of life, of every age, of every demographic, and every species, truly, is welcome to come to the show. So again, you're doing the light language workshop at Spirit Fest Sarasota. All of the information is on our website, spiritfestusa.com. Just look for the Sarasota tab. But I was hoping maybe now you could give us a little bit of channeling, if you've either got a message for us personally or just in general. Just see what comes through and what it is that we hear today.
Sure. So I'm going to call on Hathor. They're going to come through and speak to you. I don't know if they're going to offer a message first or just ask you whatever question you have. So I'm just going to put myself in that state and allow them to take over and lead the communication.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Greetings and blessings to you. It is our pleasure to be here in this beautiful space. This space is an energetic platform for the space that is going to be created during the conference. So everything that you are hearing right now, and you is anyone that is listening, that is hearing this, that is taking this in, that is feeling this energy, this frequency, this information. So these are different layers that in which we communicate with you. This is a step towards the energy that is being built in preparation for the workshop.
That's exciting.
Yes, yes. We bring in quite powerful energy, frequency, when we perform the light language and the field tuning. People may experience it as pretty sounds and may perceive it as friendly to the system because the sounds are pretty. But in essence, those are quite powerful shifts that are happening within your energy field when you are exposed and allow the interaction with such frequencies. So that is going to really expand the way people are able to feel and discern energy, because it's going to make the energy more palatable for them, both as it flows through them and also when they just listen to it and receive it.
That's beautiful.
We will allow you now to lead the conversation and see what question you may have for us.
In general terms, we're always wanting to be able to offer the best platform or conduit for people to be able to come and learn new things and to be able to accelerate their spiritual growth. Is there anything that you could suggest?
Yes, we suggest becoming accustomed to your own breath and your own voice. And this is something that people can do by themselves. Begin finding the pace of your own breath as you breathe slowly and fully. Maybe add a sound or a sigh to the exhale and experiment with how this feels and this sounds. So
Mm.
start befriending your own breath, your own voice, and play with it. You would be amazed of how much balancing and how much energy you are able to move by just playing around with your own breath and your own voice as an extension of your breath.
Okay, that's very helpful. The location that we'll be in next is Sarasota, and I wondered if there was any ancient history or if there was anything unique about the energy of Sarasota compared to some of the other cities that we visit in or out of Florida.
Yes, Sarasota does have a very unique energy profile. It is actually the meeting of three different ley lines. So
Mm.
we were not even sure that ley lines is the appropriate term, but three different energetic lines that are coming into a meeting point very, very close to where the city Sarasota is. We would say that it's slightly, the exact convergence point is over water, but
Mm.
it's right in the area of Sarasota. And
Hmm.
those include the energetic lines represent different forces. One
Hmm.
of them you may consider as an earth force. Those are related to minerals, for example.
Hmm.
Another one is the one of we will introduce now the idea that water and magnetic lines are connected.
Hmm.
And so another line is of water and magnetism.
Hmm. Hmm.
And the third line is the one that was mentioned in the conversation of the Christ consciousness,
Hmm.
which is the one of unity consciousness. So
Hmm.
these three different energetic lines that are working together converge in the area of Sarasota,
Hmm.
making the energy all the way from the land to the cosmos very potent. And again,
Hmm.
it has different aspects that people may tap into individually or in any combination.
Hmm. Hmm. I think I was saying earlier, I feel just very ancient energy there. I call it vintage, but I do feel like that there is remnants of maybe other civilizations that maybe we're not aware of. Would that be accurate?
Absolutely,
Hmm.
absolutely. Even what you term Native Americans,
Hmm.
there are whole, we're not sure if tribes or communities, maybe, there are whole groups that it's difficult to use time term, whether it's past or present, that lived on the land and have ascended. So
Mm.
they're still here, but in a higher frequency. And
Hmm.
as you know, the shift is happening that all the frequencies are rising, which also means uh, more communication with those groups and tribes.
Hmm. Hmm.
So there are indeed whole groups that are still here, but in different layers of dimensions
Hmm.
that are adding to the ancient wisdom and energy that exists here.
That's really good to know because we would really like to work with that energy, especially since we are right here. Um,
Absolutely. And there
yeah.
are many that feel a very close connection to the land and the earth and that are already connecting to different groups, bringing some of their memories and their essence and knowledge to the surface today. And some of
Hmm.
these people are interested in native cultures and are actively looking into it. And some others have no idea. They do
Hmm.
not have a conscious connection. They just know that they feel the connection to the land, to the water, to the ocean, but they do not connect it to a specific spiritual narrative.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Okay. I feel like that we're very prepared and eager to connect more with that energy and to learn from Dr. Yafi and again accelerate. The people in Sarasota are really very there's people that have been studying a really long time, and I think that they're really very advanced there. So I'm excited that this is where the workshop will be. So thank you very much.
It is our pleasure, and with love and gratitude and excitement as well for further sharing beautiful, loving, joyful space together. For now, we will bid you farewell.
Goodbye. Thank you. That was very nice, very interesting.
Thank you.
Yes, we are definitely in the right place at the right time, I feel like. And even here right now, to even those that are listening to us in a replay, that just hearing these words is just so important, and it's tuning us in with just the greater, with all that there is out there in the ether and all the beings that are helping us and love us, which is so nice, which is so beautiful.
Yeah, the more people are open to just really flow with whatever the universe and the higher self has to offer and take the next step, the more they're naturally attracted and get to hear exactly what they need to hear, exactly at the right time, to, again, give them exactly what they need at that specific moment. And I think that is really happening more and more and more. And it's just so beautiful that we are getting closer and closer to being able to really live in that way, right? In letting go of structure and embracing flow and embracing trust.
It's just such a gift to be able to communicate with them. Tell us more about your fairy. Did you say her name was Violet?
Viola.
Yes.
Viola the fairy. Yeah. So I first encountered her when I was at the Monroe Institute. And I really did not expect it at all, but I was in deep meditation in one of those exercises, and she just popped into my head and introduced herself. Well, not with a name, just showed herself to me. And it happened twice. The first time it happened, I brushed it off. I saw this green face, and it's nothing like what we see in movies, because the green there's like different green within the green. It's very like organic and fluid. It's not like painted green. So it just looked so different than what I didn't expect anything, but from what I would expect. So she had to do it twice. She had to show up twice for me to begin accepting it. And the second time, as I was coming back into my body, I came back with a knowing that her name was Viola. And I felt that she was either a fairy, an Arcturian, or something in between. And then when I came back home from the Monroe Institute, and I also had the knowing that she was an aspect of myself. I felt that. And I really was curious if I was going to be able to channel her, as I know that many channelers channel different aspects of themselves. And I assume that my connection to Hathor is something along these lines. And it took me about 2 months to gather up the courage. And eventually I did. And I was with my Sunday group, and the same Sunday group I have today. So I've been with them for years. They've been with me for years. And I did my invocation, and I called Viola the fairy, and an explosion of energy came through to me. At that point, I was so used to the gentleness of Hathor that the intensity of Viola the fairy really caught me by surprise. And she was just an explosion of energy and just a burst. And she was even talking fast. And she shared information about their realm, about, again, us going to have more and more exposure to them. And I don't even remember most of the messages that came through to her. But again, beautiful energy. Whenever I channel Viola the fairy, everybody loves it and are so excited about it every single time. And as I mentioned, last year, I actually got to have a physical sighting of a fairy, which was very, very exciting for me. So a few months before the sighting, when I channeled Hathor, they said, yes, you're going to have, me and my group asked about physical contact. When am I going to have physical contact? And they said next June. But intuitively, I felt that it may not be exactly what I expect. So for me, physical contact was ETs, extraterrestrials. That's what I was looking for. That's what I was thinking. However, to my surprise, by June, of course, I forgot the prediction. And I was in an upstate New York nature in retreat, also channeling retreat. And the day after the retreat was finished. It was the day after the retreat, and I was having a conversation with a new friend of mine, a woman, new friend of mine. And all of a sudden, we were talking about going to Egypt. I was telling her about the group that I was going to take to Egypt. And all of a sudden, a ball of light passed between our faces. Wow. So we're sitting in front of each other. So it was really, really close. And it just looked like a ball of shimmery light about this size. And inside, I could see geometric wing patterns, similar to dragonflies. And I could see that figure, and it just flew by inches from my face. I did not feel any wind or anything like that. And I could tell that she reacted, that she saw it too. And she asked me, "What is this?" And I immediately knew it was a fairy. And I was so excited about it. It was just incredible to be able to see it. And that fairy later visited her in her room at night, flying around her room. Wow. And later in group, we asked Viola about it. And she said, yes, it wasn't me. However, I sent you a friend that was local to the area. So I think fairies are local to specific areas based on some of the information I've gotten. So she sent me Amber, a friend, a fairy friend, to show up and pay us a visit.
That's great. I have felt like that they might be local. And, you know, you think of maybe like the Celtic fairies that are there, not to be confused with the Tuatha De Danann fairies. But that stands to reason because I've kind of viewed them as earth stewards.
Absolutely. They're very connected to trees and definitely to the elements in the earth. And, you know, I had this thought a few months ago, and the first time I thought something like this, I was looking at a wooded area, and there were all these trees. And I was thinking, how amazing would it be if I could be half physical, half etheric, and dive into those trees and not have to worry about the darkness or about mosquitoes or about anything, and just go in and spend time with the animals and all the beauty of the forest. And that random thought and joyful thought gave me a glimpse for the first time of how it would be to be a fairy and be able to do that and experience the woods and the nature in such a beautiful and immersive way.
Oh, yeah. And that's just another level of communication of spirits and things for us to know that we don't know. So that's great. So this time that we've spent together absolutely flew by so fast. I can't believe we've only got a few minutes left. So I would love to have you on again. I would love to talk more about all of the different things, the wisdom and everything that you have coming through Hathor and the extra-dimensional beings that are helping us and the earth in this time of ascension and awakening. But I do hope people will check you out in Sarasota with your light language workshop. Saturday the 25th, 3 hours. It's only $33, and that's a really great deal. We're very, very blessed that you're offering that because it's a great opportunity to really work with you and really learn about light language, to really experience it, and then even do it ourselves. So spiritfestusa.com, there's a tab at the top for Sarasota. And that will give you all of the information that you need. We're also on Facebook and Instagram, and there'll be more information there as well. But tell us, if you would, again, about your website.
Yes, you can find me at yafichanneling.com. Also on YouTube and most social medias, I'm Yafi Channeling. I have a lot of resources, a lot of free videos, interviews, channeling, light language. So just join the party.
Yes, highly recommend. And as I said in our last half hour too, on your YouTube channel, there's so many different types of things. And I like to sometimes, especially before I go to bed, just maybe have something on, just to kind of, put me kind of in that place. And you had a lot of different options on your YouTube channel. I was looking. So, because I've been listening to you for a while. So again, I'm very blessed and honored
Wonderful.
that you're
Thank
going to
you.
be joining us at Spirit Fest. So, thank you very much for this time. And, again, I'll see you, in less than 2 weeks,
Yes.
in Sarasota. So, thank you everybody for being with us. And, you can contact, Dr. Yafi or I, if you have any questions about the workshop, but do follow her work. I think everybody will really get a lot from it. So thank you again, and good night, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you for spending this time with me here on the Sanctuary Network. Tune in every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern on the Transformation Network as we gather to share stories, wisdom, and practices that remind us of something essential. Sanctuary isn't just a place you go, it's a space you create in your heart, your home, and your daily life. I hope today's conversation sparks something in you, a sense of belonging, a new idea, or simply a reminder that you are not alone on this journey. If this touched you, please share it with someone who could use a little light. Together we can grow this circle of sanctuary and inspire a ripple of healing around the world. And don't forget, the journey continues at spiritfestusa.com, thesanctuarynetwork.com, and naturalwellnessexpo.com. And of course, every week right here on Transformation Network. Until next time, may you be well, may you be inspired, and may you live fully in sanctuary.